said it. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Yeah, I Said It, the podcast for all things sports. I'm your host, Chris, and today I have my brother with me again. He called me this morning saying it was going down as far as the Big Ten and everybody else about to cancel their seasons or postpone them. Turns out that they postponed it to the spring. I honestly, and I'm sure he feels the same way, don't know how they're going to do that. Have two seasons in 1 year. That's too much on the bodies of 18 to 22-year-olds. Asking them to play two seasons in one season is just ridiculous. I had to call him and talk to him also because he has a very interesting perspective on what's going on right now, because there's a high school senior playing right now, and I wanted to get his thoughts on what is his challenges so far in getting his son in schools. When he selects a school, like what is that going to look like? So what he think that's going to look like. So what's going on, Sean, man?
What's up, man? Glad to have you here again, man. I love it.
So what's some of the difficulties that you're facing right now in getting Tayshawn Kennerly a scholarship, and or when he picks a school, are they telling you anything as far as like what's going to happen? Or
hey guys, I'm here to tell you about Stellar Black. Stellar Black is a black-owned company that sells body butters and candles. So when you're constantly washing your hands and you're trying not to catch the Rona, and your hands starting to get nice and ashy, like you've been playing in baby powder all day, go ahead onto the website, copy you some body butter. Body butter makes your hands feel nice and smooth and soft. You can also purchase some candles to set that mood just right. Again, you can go to stellarblack.com, purchase you some today.
Now letting you know what's going to happen as far as who's recruitment and things like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to answer your questions in the order that they were received. So, first off, yes, I have a high school senior that's coming up this fall. And dealing with the pandemic, you know, it's a lot of nervousness before the season because this is a contact sport. But with anything, you know, you got to learn, you know, what you can and can't do. From high school compared to the pros and college level, I mean, they have money, they have a budget that can protect their players. So I understand like why some high schools don't want to play the sport, but we also got to think about our kids and their future. And it's hard to say as a parent that you don't want your child to lose their dream, you know. And truth be told, me as a parent, and I'm like that a coach, I mean, like mind frame. You know, I want my son to have a plan A, but also a plan B. But if his plan A is to play in the NFL or wherever, that's for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all in for that. But you always got to have a plan B because, you know, even on Ohio State, out of their senior class, junior class, you might have 8, 9 guys make it to the league out of like, you know, 25. You know what I'm saying? So even then, it's still a 50% at the highest level. To get down to your questioning, before this corona really hit in like March, he was getting letters from Western Carolina, South Carolina University, the Gamecocks, Liberty University out in Virginia, Avery, which is Division II, Wingate, which is Division II, Newberry, which is Division II. It's a list, but nobody really offered him anything. And nowadays, a lot of guys in their junior year, sometimes even their sophomore year, really jumping on the scholarships. So now we got to think about politics and money. So now these schools, they get most of their money from TV deals. They try to use the emphasis on student athletes, and this is from the youth all the way up. You can have a Pee-wee program. You get money from the concession stands. You get money off of T-shirts. Parents are paying $200 for their kid to play. I can tell you flat out, it don't cost that much for a kid to play. Yes, you got to pay for your referees. Yes, you might have to pay for a lease on a stadium. Yes, you might have to pay for new uniforms. But you can also get tax deductions. You can ask for alumni help. A lot of high schools, especially at the level that my son played, they just want state. There's no reason why they shouldn't have a Gatorade sponsor, an Adidas sponsor, a Nike. Well, they do have a Nike sponsor. But things like that to help eliminate, you know, some of the stress that a lot of ADs are getting because they are a public school. So to answer your question, like I said, a lot of schools was interested in him after the season. As soon as this corona hit, we get emails. You know, there's no traditional, hey, come out to the school, come visit, come shake hands, come look at the locker room, come check out the weight room, come meet the coaches. You know, because now we're doing internet communication, things like that. So a real recruiter can't come to the house. A real recruiter can't come to your practice because guess what? A lot of high schools are not practicing. They're not in the weight room. They're not studying film. They're not studying the playbook. So it's a lot that's going on before the student can even get on campus. So for him, he's like in a juggling match. He's like, Dad, I don't know if I should just go D2 with this school that's really interested in me, or should I just hold off and see if we're going to have a season for this D1 school that I'm really, really interested in. Now, to the back end of your question, I look at this too, and it's kind of dangerous, and a lot of colleges ain't looking at it like this. So the Big Ten and the Pac-12 done pushed it back, right?
Oh, yep.
So now you might have fifth-year seniors. They just started this transfer portal. So now you might have guys, I doubt any Ohio State players do it, but now you got guys that say, hey, ACC still playing. I'm from Maryland, but I'm playing at Michigan State. Let me go ahead and go play for Virginia Tech. Let me go ahead and play for North Carolina A&T. I mean, not A&T, but North Carolina State. You know, let me go play for Florida State. You might be in what am I saying? In the MAC. You in the MAC, you get small TV deals. You really get to showcase your talents. Now you can probably transfer to an SEC school. You might be at Bowling Green and you just go down 75 to Kentucky to Lexington, and now you on SEC Network. You know, so it's a lot to think about with that. And then again, like I said, you got some guys as seniors, they might have went a JUCO route. In the South, I know this as a fact, they start school at 5 years old. So you got guys graduating high school at 19. So now you're a fifth-year senior, you're 24 years old. So if your school, you at Ohio State or somewhere in the Big Ten or Pac-12, and you in your fifth year, you 24, now you wait until the spring to play, you're 25 years old. So now you're going to be playing football, you're 25. Here comes my son, and he's 17, 18 years old, coming, you a grown man, you got 7 years on these kids. That's something that they need to consider. You a grown man, you've been lifting 300-something pounds for maybe 8 years now. Most of these guys as freshmen, they ain't lifting those 300-something pounds. But again, you got fifth-year seniors. Now they're going to have another year probably of eligibility. You 24, 25 years old, you playing against an 18-year-old. That's now put that same state of mind. That's like a senior playing against a 7th or 8th grader. That's crazy. It's going to be a huge age gap. They got to look out for not just the seniors and the freshmen that's on the college campus, but you also got to think about those seniors in high school.
For me, all roads lead back to the money, especially with college football. So by them canceling, this is what I feel they're really doing. So they easily, as James Franklin came out, I watched his interview this morning, came out and said that, hey, there's things that we can do. We can be, as far as the Big Ten, we can be in a bubble. We have domes. There's a dome right over in Indianapolis. There's a dome in Detroit. You know, you can do it like that.
Piggyback off of that, you know how they do the Big Ten ship in Indiana?
Yeah,
they can do it there.
Yeah.
All the guys can get together there. The only thing is, let me interrupt you real quick. The only thing is, they quote unquote try to say these kids are student athletes.
That's where I was going.
At the end of the day, it's about money. Most of these college coaches make more than NFL coaches. Most of these college facilities are better than NFL facilities. You can go down to the high school level, and you know we from Ohio, but you can go to some schools and you can see some of these campuses. They look better than Division II campuses. You can check out their weight rooms, the turf, whatever the case may be. Look better than Division II schools. It's money made off of these kids.
Yeah.
So they definitely can put aside some money. Either put them in a bubble by conference. You can still have your playoffs. Because normally, even if you stay on track, normally the playoffs is 2-3 weeks after the final game. Most people play around Christmas up until I think the 3rd or the 4th of January for the championship game, right? So with that being said, it's possible. You could have moved it back. But something that I also caught when Franklin was talking, Stephen A was on, and Stephen A had made a good point. Why y'all wait until now? Y'all had all the way since March. Y'all seen the NBA close and cancel. You had all the way since March to decide something. That's the thing. So that's kind of ridiculous that you wait up until basically a month before the season supposed to open. We seen the Big Ten. They say, hey, well, we ain't playing nobody outside our schedule.
First conference to do that.
You can take care of the kids, but people gotta understand. You can get this virus if these kids go down the street off Ohio State campus. They go down on High Street, go get a beer or go get some fries from Wendy's. So it's better to keep them in a bubble, and the NBA is doing really good with that.
So this is the thing. So like I was saying, when they canceled the season, and it's about the money. So if they put these kids in the bubble, then they have to admit that they're not just student athletes. They're paid laborers. So if they don't want to do that, they don't want to share in any of the revenue that they generate, they still got money. Even if the season is canceled, they're missing out on billions, but they got billions. Trust me. They got there's multiple people that's making millions upon millions of dollars. Ain't played a down of football, but yet you getting paid off for all of what these kids are doing. Oh, we're giving them a scholarship, but what if he breaks his leg and then the school takes away his scholarship and he can't play no more? You see what I'm saying? So those are things that people don't think about. They don't want to be able to split that revenue with these kids that make all the money for all the other sports. So football and basketball are the big sports where you're going to make most of your money. So that's why they're like, when they were going to cancel the season, it's not because they're thinking about the kids. They're not. They're thinking about, if we bubble these kids, that is just going to make it so the kids are going to go to school online, and we have to separate them from everybody else because they're professionals. But they're not.
Exactly.
So you don't want to pay them, and you don't want to share in this revenue and these billions that y'all making, so therefore we're not going to do it. We're just going to cancel the season. That's why the players come out saying we still want to play. That's why coaches, there's a quote where Dabo Swinney, I don't particularly like the guy, I'm going to be honest with you, because I just think he's for himself, but he said, I don't think in a couple of years there's going to even be college football. I think it's going to turn into pro football because the players are going to be a union by that time. Let's be real.
Football is like not a tier down, but it is like the semi-pro.
It's it's exactly what it is. So
and that's why is in far as NCAA, they don't want them kids, leaving after their freshman year. They was happy to even get that because the Kobe's and a lot of guys that went straight to from high school to the pros. It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about money. I mean, look at them stands. Look at them stadiums. You look at the Big House, that team up north. You look at the Horseshoe. You look at Death Valley. You got 90, 70, 100-something thousand Notre Dame. You look at all these schools. You got 100,000 people in these stands. And you charging them $30, $40 a ticket. And you got some tickets going $500, $600 a ticket.
Like the Michigan Ohio State game. Oh, yeah. You spending thousands.
$1 a ticket. But you can't give these kids no money. You can't give them no cut. It's ridiculous. And just piggybacking again what you said. I ain't gonna say my son, but it could be a kid got a messed up ACL. You know, yeah, you're gonna let him see your trainers, your doctors, and things like that. Well, he ain't gonna be no good. The chances is he might not get drafted. Now he done did all this hard work, all these sweat and tears, and going to class. 90% of those guys that you call student athletes, they come in there to be professionals. They're not thinking about getting a 4-year degree, which is sad, true indeed. So again, people, they will say, well, they're going to school for a scholarship. Yeah, but they also getting that broken finger. They also getting them broken ribs. They also getting a broken neck. They also hundreds of miles away from their family. They also sleeping at night in their cars. They also starving. A lot of stuff gonna have to change, and it's. I mean, I'm kind of glad that this happened in a sense, because it's waking up sports in general. You know what I'm saying? So again, we've been doing a lot of debating about, you know, these kids being paid, and you know they're really an athlete before they're a student. You came to get me. You gave me a scholarship not because of my grades, but because I was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You came to visit my mama and told her all this good stuff because I was an athlete. You didn't say, hey, grades. No. If that was the case, the dean of students or whatever the case may be, my future professor of my sociology class 101, he should be in my front room, not Dabo Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm an athlete, and then I'm a student. Most of these guys, yeah, they might go back to school, but at the end of the day, they want to be professionals. Y'all basically treat them like professionals, and now if y'all do this, y'all even proven without a doubt in anybody's mind that they are professionals. So it's time to pay these guys. But again, I think it's a lot of health factors with pushing back the date. I think a bubble would be the best idea. I think, especially like with the Big Ten or Alabama, the SEC, they should play somewhere that's uniform to where they don't have to go do a lot of traveling and stuff like that, and get a couple games in. As a fan, like I said, I would love to see them every Saturday. I would love to see that. You know, the back plays during the week sometimes, but I would love to see that. But yeah, we do have to look out for the health of the children. But at the same time, we take risks when we allow these kids to play football. I don't care if they're 5 years old. Flag football, you can sprain your ankle. You can mess up your wrist during flag football.
Mm-hmm.
You can sprain during flag football. You know, now we got them in the contact sports, and sometimes, like my son been playing contact since he was a little guy, since he was like 8, 7 years old. So there's a lot of risk. So if you can put your kid in that fire, you definitely can put him in this. You already agreed to that.
You already knew the risk.
Bad way, but that is a contact sport.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of these players and the parents still want to play, obviously. I mean, because they already assume death as a danger because I play this game. So, I just think it's just the money, man. The money.
Money.
They don't want to share in the money, and that, you know, it's obvious. And they're like, I'll sacrifice. Think about it like this. If you're thinking about it like this, would you sacrifice a year of making $1 billion or have a guaranteed shot at making $50 billion over the next 10 years? That's how they're thinking. They're thinking, I can get more by just canceling the season, not treating these kids like they're professionals, and next year I'm going to just make double the money because people are going to really be starving for football. People are really going to be starving to see Ohio State play. I mean, we're from Ohio, and I literally just did a video saying how crazy we are as fans. I'm hurt. Like, I want to see Ohio State play, but I can't. And I understand because it's a serious risk. But if y'all was going to do this, like you said, you had 4 or 5 months to do this, to think about it. I know you can't be a bunch of dummies. Y'all all up in school. You can't be a bunch of dummies talking about they student athletes and expect them to be student athletes, and y'all are the ones in charge, and y'all can't think of a way to quarantine these people. Because it's not about them not being smart enough to do it. It's about them not wanting to share the money. That's just it is what it is. That's just plain and simple. They don't want to share the money, but I honestly, personally think it's just going to crumble in the next few years. It's all going to crumble. Either they're going.
EA Sports. I hope y'all watching this because I need my NCAA back, man.
Yeah.
I know they probably laughing, rubbing their hands like Birdman. I'm ready for this to happen, man, because these kids need to get paid.
They need to get paid.
Actually, you know the movie Blue Chips? That's one of my favorites.
Yep.
It will actually stop a lot of that where parents are getting cars, parents are getting put up in houses and things like that. Now you got NCAA rules violations like that bull crap that happened with Terrell Pryor and them. Come on now, man. Come on now, man. Y'all making millions of dollars, like I said earlier, off these kids. And the kids sign something. Jameis Winston go get some free fish. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all can't tell me y'all ain't sitting like fat cats in y'all Lexus cars and Porsche trucks and $3 million homes and come on, man. Come on. Y'all can't do that. You get mad because the guy go get some free fish. He signed his own signature. I can't sign my own signature and get a couple dollars. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. So I think, honestly, paying the players is just how they going to break it down. And I think across the Power 5, it should be equal payments. From the kicker to the starting quarterback.
Because everybody knows on a football team, everybody's value is pretty much damn near the same. Because if you ain't got no kicker, that can be the difference in winning and losing the ball game. Hence, Florida State, Miami. So,
but you know, when they talk about paying the kid, they already eliminating the student. But again, y'all making y'all money off of this. Y'all making not just money for the football program, but Ohio State swimming team is surviving because of the football program. Your AD is surviving because of the football program. You don't see, what's his name, Smith? You don't see him at the wrestling matches. You don't see him at the baseball games. You see him at every single Ohio State football game. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's where his money is at.
That's where the money is
at. He understands, because he knows where he is. And especially in Ohio, he knows where he is. That's where my bread is buttered.
Yeah. So I agree with you, man. Yes, I would love to see football. Yes, I know there's a lot of risk. But there's a lot of risk as soon as you sign your letter of intent, as soon as you put them pads on and your cleats hit that grass. You was ready for that risk.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for that risk. And that's with anything in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like these doctors. They out here dealing with this coronavirus. Every day they leave out their house, there's a chance that they might come home with it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you have a risk in doing. But these guys agreed on doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, and if the parents approve, I think just not a ballot, but you could just not vote, but you could just do like a petition, or, you know, that's what these kids need to get together and say, hey, we want to play.
Yep, or have them sign a waiver. The thing I also think that, have them sign a waiver. And a thing that I also came up with, again, even if they do all of these things, they don't want to split the money. You can put it in in insurance. You can put it like how they put insurance in their body. Put it in the insurance. Say, hey, if I catch the coronavirus while I'm out here pursuing my dreams to be an NFL player, if I catch the coronavirus and I can no longer play, or something that happens to me until I get sick and I pass away, put that in your insurance. They just don't want to. Even if you take all these steps, y'all want to play, but they don't want to split the money, bro. That's just what it is. But everybody knows this. If they think logically, you follow the money. That's just what it is. They don't want to split it, so the season is canceled. I think that's some bull, but it's all good. What they're doing is hiding behind the disease when there's ways to avoid it. The NBA has proven that there's ways to avoid it. Bubble.
Yep.
Bubble.
Yep.
And football players are actually used to being in a bubble anyway.
Yep.
Because when you go to training camp, when you do different things, it's always with the team in the first place. And they're already away from their family. So
Yep.
they already Zoom time in their family, so they already in the bubble on the campus anyway.
And
So
that's another thing. I do have a high school son, but most of the time, especially like college athlete, they spend the most of the time with their peers. As far as if you're a wide receiver, you probably with a quarterback or another wide receiver or a tight end or one of the running backs. You with your core group. You know what I'm saying? You in that room with him. Y'all studying. Y'all go from, and that's why they really should be paid, because they spend so much time practicing, film study, weightlifting, all day together. So they really are, like you said, in a bubble. And it just, you got to be smart about this. And it really don't take a lot of common sense either. It's all about the money, man. It's all about the money.
yeah, I mean that's just what it is, man. It's sad to say, but they made a chess move, and it's still gonna backfire because I feel like they're gonna create their own union after this. I see the XFL is trying to creep in there and try to get some of the college players, which is smart of The Rock to do. Like, hey man, y'all, you know they gonna cancel y'all season. It's cool. Won't you come and get paid to be out there and play? You see what I'm saying?
I know we probably run out of time on this topic, but you know what? That's exactly the NBA decided to start paying them guys in the NBDL, but G League, more money because they started seeing guys playing over in Australia and Spain and getting these checks in China and getting money. Like Stephon Marbury was getting millions, you know what I'm saying, over in China.
Mm-hmm.
They was loving Kobe, God rest his soul, you know what I'm saying, over in China, getting millions. His shoes wasn't even selling as much as over here as it was doing over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So guys had the opportunity to go overseas and play ball straight out of high school over there and then come back to the United States. And it's mainly to be on TV. It's mainly to get that real big check. You know what I'm saying? But again, with everything we're talking about, it all comes down to this bottom dollar. But the NFL might have to make that change and say, hey, these guys going over to the XFL, or these guys going to this other semi-pro league or something like that. And all it takes is one good star, like how Reggie White was. It only take one good star that the NFL really wants. Just say if Trevor Lawrence went to the XFL. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To buy him out will be crazy. You know, because they would try to keep him.
Yeah.
But it might come down to that, to where I believe that this is a good thing, but a bad thing that happened, and they gonna have to stop calling them student athletes and pay these kids, give them a share of the revenue. Once they get this collective bargaining, that's what they should go ahead and do.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids that's putting it all on the line and having injuries that they can't never play football ever again. So just with that, forget this season. Just think about that. You know, there's kids right now that's playing football, going to class, and they don't have $1. They can't go get nothing to eat. They can't go get some new clothes. They can't go get no new shoes. You know, and they spending more time on a football field than you at work. So they need to be considered as, you know, saying athletes. Period. Point blank. So they gotta find some underlining to pay these kids and, you know, move on.
Totally agree. But appreciate you joining me, man. Y'all gotta like, share, subscribe, comment on the bottom of the video. If you think we wrong and the kids shouldn't be paid, say it so I can slap you with these words and you be like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. But I'll be in the comment for sure. But I appreciate y'all for joining me, for coming through again, Sean, man. I appreciate it. And catch y'all next time.